T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I think if you keep these guys developed in the system of the San Francisco 49ers, I think the 49ers can do anything to win games. I think this team is more dangerous than people expect. I think this is a team that can go all the way to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. I look at Brock Purdy. He's an underrated quarterback. He's young. He makes a lot of mistakes, but the guy can get out of the pocket and throw that damn ball. People say he can't throw. The guy can throw 70 yards on a given day, like they say, any given Sunday. So watch out. San Francisco, they snapped their three-game losing streak. They're back on roll. You guys beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 34-3. This is a dangerous team, and they will win the division. And I'm afraid to say, but Seattle is the only opponent in that division that will give you guys a tough time. The rest of the division, hideous. Arizona finally won today with final seconds left. Kyler Murray. That team is hideous, like the Vancouver Canucks. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. But no, I'm just saying San Francisco's a good team. Good football team. Great football team.
Well, and we're going to get a test. So we're going to.
Welcome to Joe Sports Channel. Ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls of all ages, to all the wonderful and fantastic sexy pinata boonie believers out there, it is December 2nd, 2023, 10:32 p.m. Eastern Time on this beautiful day in the great city, alone, London, Ontario, Canada. Folks, a lot of people have been wondering, when is the legend himself, Mr. Jim Barker, coming on the Joe Sports Channel? Folks, we are seconds away from Grey Cup champion. Actually, pause that for a sec. Grey Cup legend, Mr. Jim Barker, and our good friend from London, Ontario, Canada as well, that will be broadcasting with Joe Booney. Welcome in Jim Barker and Johnny B. Good evening, folks.
How you doing?
I can't complain, Jim. I can't complain.
I feel honored to be amongst these you esteemed Londoniders, Booney and Good. Oh my goodness gracious!
That is a compliment that I will remember for decades and move it on to my children as well. I appreciate the compliment, my friend.
Anytime.
Listen, the National Football League is just something to watch out the last few weeks, and I want to get right into business. The Buffalo Bills are one of the biggest disappointments of all year. 6-6. I would never think that the Buffalo Bills be a team that is 500 with a quarterback that I believe is one of the best NFL quarterbacks in today's moderation, and Josh Allen. What is going on, Jim Barker, with the Buffalo Bills? Take the floor.
Well, there's a major dysfunction in that. There's something, you're right, there is something wrong because they have a better team than 6-6. They fired, my man Ken Dorsey, who played with us. He played with us at the Argos in 2010. And, he was to fire your coordinator when you have a team that's that good. At that point, I just thought was an act of desperation. And again, they're finding ways to lose games. They're finding ways to not get the ball in the end zone. You watch their game and it's like, man, it's like only the Bills could do this. And it's sad. It is sad to watch, but there's a major dysfunction there. That's my opinion. As I look at it, something's not right.
And something's not right with this play, and I want your thoughts on both of it.
For the Eagles on Monday night, which they came back from to win.
Take it back. The Eagles are good.
Second and goal. As Allen has someone on him right away, and he's thrown down. Oh, what a play by Reddick. And look at the jersey's ripped. He just...
No call. Jim, you were our former head coach.
Oh, yeah, and I was hard on refs.
And you were hard on refs. Was that a good call?
In my mind, I liked that it wasn't called. To get a horse collar tackle, you have to bring him down from the back. That's why it's called a horse collar. If you bring him down from the front, I mean, the tear in his jersey was down the front of his jersey. Now, did they need that last swing? Maybe not. But again, you've got a big, strong quarterback that breaks those tackles, and this guy was trying to get the guy down. If he goes down and he's just holding the jersey and he doesn't put that second hand on that gave him the torque spin that you wanted called as a penalty, Josh Allen breaks a tackle, goes in and scores a touchdown, and you're like, yeah, that was great. Well, the problem is that this guy's job is to tackle him. And honestly, I didn't feel it was a horse collar. I thought it was a bit aggressive. In the CFL, it probably would have been called right away. But because it was Josh Allen and he's a quarterback that runs a lot, officials are not going to cut him breaks when it comes to those kind of tackles because of the way he runs. He didn't give himself up. He was trying to break the tackle. And you know what? You play the game. And I don't think Josh Allen was arguing for a flag. I really don't. I think he wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be called a fumble.
We're heard enough, Jim Barker. Johnny, be good.
Don't ask me if you don't want to hear.
I love your backlash.
I feel mixed now. I was going to say it was an obvious, but listening to Jim, it's like, yeah, he's right. There was tear from the front. He was obviously over aggressive. I think. Again, it's funny for what I've seen for roughing the passer. I mean, there's times where look, you touch Joe Burrow. Oh, it's a roughing the passer if you touch him, right? And in this play, he not only threw him down, but he whipped him down. He went flying. Like Josh Allen is like 250 pounds. Like he's not a light guy. Hassan Reddick is I'm worried about him going against Brock Purdy tomorrow because this is where we got injured last year. But he's tough on quarterbacks. So if he whips Brock Purdy down like that, he might be injured again. So,
well, how many times, Johnny? How many times have you seen Joe Burrow go and take off and break that tackle and get into the end zone? You can count them on one hand. Yeah, with Josh Allen, it happens all the time. So
but I've never seen something like that physical with the jersey ripped and the referee's right there. You know what I mean?
You guys, it's too physical. It's too aggressive. This is the NFL.
Should I bring up a tape of yours arguing on a ref for a 3rd and 1 against Montreal? Should I bring it up? I'm kidding. But seriously, I believe as a fan and as a former coach of you, that should have been called. That was crucial. It would have been 17-7. Mm-hmm. It would have been 17-7.
Yeah, but the ref's not thinking about that. The ref's saying, is this an above and beyond act? I personally didn't think it was. I didn't think he grabbed the face mask. I didn't think he horse collared him. I think he brought him down aggressively with a jersey because he's got a guy who's 250 pounds trying to break out of it. Let's play football, baby.
Let's play football. And, Buffalo has no harder test. You got the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time, December 10th. Then you got the hot Dallas Cowboys, December 17th, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time. Then you got the Chargers, Patriots, and Dolphins. It doesn't get any easier for the Bills. Do the Bills have a shot on making the playoffs?
I think they have a shot. And I think the Patriots, they're the worst team in the NFL now. They got the Patriots coming up. They got that to look
One game, Jim.
One game, but
you got Kansas City, you got the Cowboys, and you got the Dolphins.
The Chiefs and the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, we're getting closer to the playoffs. So they're going to start playing Cowboy playoff football, which stinks. So it's going to give the Bills a chance. It's, that's what the Cowboys do. As they get closer to the playoffs, they go downhill. They're great now. They're playing teams that don't have 500 records. I mean, they've won 5 in a row or whatever, playing against, the garbage of the NFL. But as it gets closer to the time, the Cowboys are, they're again, they're going to be
football team. They're a good football team, and Dallas got screwed in Philadelphia. Dallas should have easily won that game.
Well, and maybe that's true. The point is, I look at history, and the history of the Dallas Cowboys is get close to the playoffs, and it's just so hard to play with 2 hands around your neck.
Look how easy
the Dallas Cowboys are the Toronto Maple Leafs in hockey.
You got it. Exactly.
Exactly.
That is a great comparison, Joe.
Johnny, what were you going to say?
I'm just going to say, look how Seattle put up 35 points. I was watching that game. I thought, boy, neither defense could stop anything. I thought, these don't look like playoff teams to me. Solid defense wins games. I mean, 35 and 38 points. Wow, that was way too easy. And again, against subpar quarterbacks.
Johnny, you're wearing a George Kittle jersey, and I respect George Kittle. He is the best tight end in the National Football League. And you're facing the Birds tomorrow, the worst fans in the National Football League, the Philadelphia Eagles. 425. Brock Purdy. This is revenge, and this is a statement. If the San Francisco 49ers want to have something, do something, improve something, they must win tomorrow in Philadelphia. How are the Eagles going to get it done? Actually, how are the 49ers going to get it done in Philadelphia?
Again, the way that they've done it for most of the season is spreading the ball. It can't be, okay, we're just going to get it to Debo. We're just going to get it to you, right? So it can't be just CMC running the ball, right? They've got to spread the load. They got to keep the Eagles off balance, right? That's how you win. So, if I'm calling the offense, again, you spread the ball around, not just one guy. They have a number of weapons. They need to use every weapon at their disposal. And again, Purdy's got to get rid of the ball pretty quick. So number 7 doesn't get after him and whip him around like a racquetball. So.
Jim, 49ers or Eagles tomorrow, and why?
Again, I can't understand. The best team in football right now is the Philadelphia Eagles, and you can argue whatever, but they're at home, a tough place to play, and the 49ers are getting 3 points. Okay, that just doesn't make sense to me. But the Vegas guy, the hot shots in Vegas, they know what they're doing. They're not idiots. And there's something up, whether it's something with Jalen Hurts or I know their receiving core is a little banged up, or is there going to be maybe some of their defensive line, because that's the key to their team is the defensive line. They control games. That's where I think they have the advantage over San Francisco. And I don't think it would have mattered if Brock Purdy would have played in that playoff game. I feel like that their offensive line couldn't handle the Eagle defensive line.
I agree.
So, what's going to happen with that? On the surface, I would say, if I could get the Eagles getting 3 points at home, and San Francisco having to come across country, I mean, it's almost like, the Browns go in LA, spending the week out in LA, and then going to battle with Joe Flacco at quarterback. I mean, what's next? Trent Dilfer? Come on, man.
Have some respect for that Hall of Famer. Okay? Have some respect for Joe Flacco. He starts tomorrow. San Fran has pretty much an okay schedule. They got the Eagles, then they got the Seahawks, then they got the Cardinals, Ravens, Commanders, and Rams. And I really believe that they can win all these remaining games. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 6 games. What are they right now? They're 8-3, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They can go 14-3. First seed, as long as Philadelphia can lose at least 1 or 2 more games and Dallas continues on winning. Actually, Dallas has a good shot of beating the Eagles in that final game against Philadelphia.
You know what? We will. I haven't bet in probably 20 years, but we might have to make a bet on that game, Joe. You and I.
You know what? I'm going to bet. I'm going to bet on you. At the end of the night, I'm going to think about it right now. And at the end of the night, I'll give you what I think. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I used to be one of those that thinks you can beat the Vegas guys, and you just can't. And like I say, I got cured. You know how I got cured? I got cured coaching in Reno. I coached in Reno. So when you live there, at first it was really fun, and it was then when you start, you start seeing these big buildings, and you realize, wow, they didn't get there by giving me money. And so I kind of got off the gambling bandwagon, but I do find it very interesting on lines like this, like how in the world that can come up, unless we hear that, a starting offensive lineman, 2 starting defensive linemen are out. That's, maybe that then you can get it, but I don't get that one.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
What'd you say, Johnny?
Well, I was just going to say I agree with him there because I was surprised because, again, Eagles at home, you don't beat the Eagles at home. So I thought we were so again, I was surprised. Coach Shanahan was surprised. How are we the favorites? It's a grudge match. We get it. But, again, the Eagles are still the team to beat. We haven't beaten them yet, so we got to prove ourselves. So they should be the favorites. And we're, like you said, unless Lane Johnson or there's a key player or Jalen Hurts is injured, unless something is up that we don't know about, I would say the Eagles are the favorites.
And they're coming off a couple big wins with the Chiefs, and they're so that this is a game they can say we just went through the 3 best teams in the league and won them all by winning this game at home. So this is I see this as a bigger game for Philadelphia than maybe other people do. I don't know. It is a
big rival. I got to say, it is a big rival. These two.
It's getting bigger.
Yeah. Well, from last year to this year, right?
Yeah.
When you expand, right? Listen, to beat the king, you got to beat the king. And the Denver Broncos they started their record 1-5, and you have a future Hall of Famer with a Super Bowl champion in Sean Payton. Their season from 1-5 to 6-5, it feels like that we're watching the good old 2016 with Peyton Manning and DeMarcus Thomas. The Denver Broncos, they're over 500. Will they beat the Texans tomorrow, and will they make the playoffs, Jim?
Well, in Houston, and C.J. Stroud is a guy that I think is really, really come into his own faster than anybody thought he would. I don't think they'll win there. I agree with you. I think that for them to be where they are now, all the things Sean Payton took heat for about saying, coming out about Nathaniel Hackett and some of the things that they did in that organization, and he took a lot of abuse for it. But it's coming back now to show that he was probably right. And you look at the Jets and what they're doing. Yeah, they got Zach Wilson, who they took 2nd overall in the draft, and he can't play anymore. And they got this Boyle. I'm going to go off track of the Broncos just for 1 second because I got to talk about the Jets and how they play this Boyle guy who I have no idea where he came from. And and this is, Canadians will appreciate this. You got Nathan Rourke sitting on the practice roster in Jacksonville who won games at the professional level. Now, he goes in the preseason, and on 5 drives in the preseason, he takes the team down and scores touchdowns. Now, why are you not bringing that guy up and say, let's see what we got? I mean, is Joe Douglas the GM? Is he? It's mind blowing to me. I can get it if you think Zach Wilson is your guy and you're just a bad evaluator of talent because you took him 2nd overall. But at some point, you need to take a look at what guys have done. This guy has won at the professional level, and he goes there and yes, it was preseason, and yes, he was playing backups, but he was playing with backups also, and took them to 5 scores and made maybe the best play of the entire NFL preseason. So why are they not going down and trying to claim Nathan Rourke? It just makes 0 sense to me that we're going to watch these hamburgers that they're throwing out there for the Jets. Now, back to the Broncos. Russell Wilson, I think Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett, not that they didn't get along, but I think it was a bad mix. The kind of coach that Nathaniel is and the kind of player that Russell is. And I think that he's now got a guy Russell is a little bit like Drew Brees, a little undersized, very accurate thrower. He's got the ball out of his hands. And Drew Brees flourished with Sean Payton. I think that brought Russell Wilson, has brought him through a little bit better. He probably is playing with a little more discipline. You pay a guy as much money as they paid and gave up all they gave up to get him. Sometimes that can be hard for a young coach to handle, and I think it was difficult for Nathaniel Hackett. So I'm excited to watch the Broncos playing like this because I like the old coaches to go out there and win. It's the young guys come in, and you occasionally get one that's gonna go. But when an old guy goes into a place like this that was just awful, and they start rough, and now they've won 5 in a row, they're 6-5, and they're on the verge of being a playoff team, and I'm all for them.
I am too, and I believe Denver actually will beat the Texans tomorrow. I think it's going to be a close game.
Tough game, boy. That's a tough one.
They're playing in Houston, but I'm just going to go out there and put it out there at the Waters. 27-24 the final. I think Russell Wilson plays the best game he could ever play in Denver because they're going into Houston, and I think he'll at least have 3 touchdowns with over 250 yards. I believe so. Yeah, I think he goes out tomorrow. I think he starts throwing those bombs like he used to do in Seattle when Seattle beat the Packers, my Green Bay Packers. That we'll get to that in a bit.
Sean Payton against D'Amico Ryans. We could look at it that way too.
Yeah, you can look at it that way. And you can look at Denver. The final remaining games are the Texans, the Jets, the Titans, the Browns, the Texans, and the Colts. So it is possible for these guys to do anything.
They can win all those.
Yeah. Johnny, you don't like Russell Wilson, first off. And second off, do the Broncos have a chance against the Texans?
Well, yes, it's not that I don't like Russell Wilson. Again, I watched him a lot of years in Seattle. I'll give him kudos. He has looked good the last couple of games, but he just didn't seem to be the same quarterback he was leading Seattle in Denver. I think the game that showed it for me with Denver was when they beat Buffalo. I think that's going to be the Achilles heel for Buffalo because that's a game they should have won that they let slip away. But Denver, the last couple of weeks they've shown up. I would pick the Titans. The Colts. I would pick the Texans tomorrow at home. Again, they're playing well. Former 49ers coach D'Amico Ryans. Again, the Texans, who were one of the worst teams last year, have turned it around, and the Jets, who again, former 49ers coach Saleh. Again, I still don't understand why the Jets got rid of Mike White. He was their best quarterback, and then I get it. You're bringing in Aaron Rodgers. Nobody expected it to happen. Zach Wilson was supposed to sit on the bench, but here they are in a big mess. But I like the Texans tomorrow. The Broncos, I don't know. On the road, I'm not sure. I think it's the Texans at home. For me, a close game, I'll say a field goal. But yes, I think Sean Payton has finally got the Broncos believing. I think the people in Denver finally believing, hey, we got a shot here. And again, a reasonable schedule to finish out the season too. Yeah, sneak into the playoffs. Yeah.
Interesting, John. We got the Indianapolis Colts against the Tennessee Titans. Titans are still in there. They're out of the waters yet. You got the Colts that are 6-5 and the Titans that are 4-7. I'm actually going to pick Tennessee tomorrow. Playing in Tennessee. I know Tennessee's haven't been playing good at home, but I'm picking an upset at least by 3+ with the spread.
Who's starting a quarterback for Tennessee?
It's not an area. It hasn't been confirmed.
That's my point.
You got Derrick Henry. Okay.
You got Derrick Henry. I'll give you that. And Jonathan Taylor's not playing for the Colts.
No.
And the Colts have got Gardner Minshew. And so, that is what it is. But the Titans, I don't even know who's playing. It's a rookie. I'm not even sure who it is, to be honest with you. But
hasn't been confirmed yet who's going to be the starting quarterback. Third stringer. Unfortunately, Ryan Tannehill is out for the season.
Yeah, but like the Buffalo Bills, the Titans are something just not right. The way they have been a great defensive football team under Mike Vrabel. They've been a physical football team. They've been a team that can rely on Derrick Henry. They don't seem that they've been that this year. They've just, and I don't know, Arthur Smith was their coordinator 2 years ago. And he's a real physical, what he's done in Atlanta has turned them into a physical team. And I don't know if that's what's happened, but there's just something not right in Tennessee. It just doesn't. I don't know. Doesn't.
They lost their best receiver, AJ Brown.
Yeah, well, that got John Robinson, the GM, fired.
You lose one of the best receivers in the game in this moderation today, and you go from a team that was 11-5 to a team that is barely maybe making the playoffs or not. So you gotta fire maybe even the head coach. Seriously, I don't think the head coach is right for Tennessee. I think he should go somewhere else. Cleveland. I don't like Cleveland's coach at all. Bring some chemistry, some experience in the playoffs because he's a great coach and he beat Tom Brady multiple times.
The quarterback for the Titans is Will Levi, the young rookie.
Will Levis from Kentucky.
Okay,
that's right.
He's a rookie. He's improving, but again, he's playing like a rookie. So again, I know Mike Vrabel. Again, that's been the Titans' problem is they haven't had a consistent quarterback. Even Ryan Tannehill struggled with them in the playoffs. So now they've drafted, but the problem is, okay, now we got to go through the growing pains for rookie quarterback. He's doing okay. He's close, but again, he's going to make mistakes. Colts roll. I like Gardner Minshew, and I remember saying when he left Jacksonville, whoever picks him up, I know he went to the Philadelphia last year, and he kind of sat on the bench, but it's good to see the Colts pick him up, and now he's thriving again.
Yeah, and Scott Milanovic, who was up here in Canada, coached him in Indianapolis. When he came, he felt that Gardner Minshew was really a prospect. He just said he sees the field well. He gets rid of the ball. He does all the things you want without having the huge arm. He just doesn't have a huge arm.
Yeah, he's a winner. He's kind of like a Brock Purdy. Purdy doesn't have a big arm, and he's not your Mahomes or these guys that can whip the ball, but he gets the job done. He gets the ball out of his hands. He makes smart plays. So, same with Gardner Minshew. I like him. He's a smart quarterback.
Yeah.
And who else has a big arm is Mr. Justin Herbert. And how are the Chargers 4-7? This is one of the biggest disappointments that I could ever see this year. Buffalo and the Chargers. I really thought the Chargers were going to be a lot better this year than last year. And
hey, Joe, who's a bigger disappointment to you, the Chargers or the Patriots?
The Chargers.
More so than the Patriots.
Yeah. I believe. I said last year the Patriots are going to get 4 wins all year for 2023.
Really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you have no quarterback. You have no team. You have Bill Belichick. People are bashing Bill Belichick. There's no team for New England. The chemistry is over. Who do they have left? What, Robert Kraft is going to come play football? You're going to bring Robert Kraft? Get
him off the massage table.
Get him on the massage team. Bring him on. Maybe he'll massage some players to get them active for the National Football League because this is pro football. I'm picking the Chargers tomorrow, and I think they're going to dismantle the Patriots at least by 20+.
Whoa.
I believe so. I think Justin Herbert goes in tomorrow with 4 touchdowns on the day, 1 interception. And this guy plays lights out.
Well, New England used to play good defense. Then they lost Judon, and when they lost him in, I think, week 4, they can't pressure the quarterback. They can't stop the run. They can't do anything. And I agree with you. The Chargers are going to win. I don't know if 20. That's I don't know. They just the Chargers just there's something again like the Bills. There's something missing. And Brandon Staley's one of those young coaches. He would been with the Rams, and he gets the head job there. But there's nothing. There's no, I don't know. There's just something missing to me.
No chemistry, no experience. Coach is terrible. Fire the coach. Start all over again. Like Mr. Dan Campbell in Detroit. Look at Detroit's coach. Phenomenal. You got to get somebody that fires that team up, like a John Tavares, the leader of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, well, we'll see how Detroit does. That Thanksgiving Day game was oh my gosh, was that? But that's the Lions. The Lions, when they're good, they play bad on Thanksgiving, and when they're bad, they play good on Thanksgiving.
Well, they're 0-6, and people said Green Bay's going to get dismantled in Detroit. I said, you know what? Make that bet with Joe Gooney. I bet you they're going to at least win by 7+, and they did. Green Bay's looking like good. Detroit looks good, but I got Detroit losing tomorrow.
Really?
You're playing in New Orleans. You're playing in New Orleans with Derek Carr, and this is a crucial game more for the Saints than Detroit.
But all the receivers are hurt for the Saints. Olave's not playing. I mean, there's three receivers not playing for the Saints, and same thing. The coach there, there's certain teams you watch and you can't. When I can't watch a team, excuse me, and say this is what they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to be a physical. Like you watched Philadelphia. They're trying to knock your
physical team.
You know what? They're going to knock your head off every single time they come off the ball. It's a physical football team. On defense, they're going to physically beat you up. You know what they're trying to do. When you watch New Orleans, you don't know what they are. I mean, they're not real physical. They don't, I don't think they use Kamara real well anymore. And I don't know. I have trouble with New Orleans. And I just don't see Detroit coming off of that game, having the extra time to get ready for this, with Dan Campbell as your coach. If they come out and play flat, I would be shocked. Shocked.
Yeah. Johnny, be good?
Well, I was just going back to the last game, but I'm going with the Chargers. But the problem with the Chargers is they've lost 5 games by a few points. They're not closing. They're not finishing the games. So that's the problem with the Chargers. As for the Lions, yeah, historically they don't do well on the road. I'm not sure what to expect from either team tomorrow. I mean, the Saints, Derek Carr has been inconsistent, and again, you don't know what you're getting. They're not using Alvin Kamara right. So again, I agree with what Jim's saying. So it's the Saints normally do well at home, but I think this will be a close game. But I don't know. I want to say the Lions, but they didn't look good last game either. So it's really, if I had to pick, I'd say the Lions will get back on track. I think they'll right the wrongs. But the Saints, they need this to get back in the division race and keep pace with Atlanta. So hopefully there's some motivation being at home and the division on the line.
But see, the Lions are a great example of what I was talking about. A team, you can watch that team play and you know what they're trying to do. They got Gibbs at 12th pick overall. A lot of people said he was taken way too early. And he wasn't. They have thunder and lightning with he and Montgomery, and that's a tough, and they're going to run the ball, and they're going to throw the ball to those tight ends, and control. They're going to control the line of scrimmage, and they're going to play very physical on defense. You can sense what kind of team they are. That's why I don't worry about them going into a slump of 3 or 4 games of not playing well, because they have a definite. You know what you're getting with them. That's why I think tomorrow will be a real interesting game, because I do believe they're going to come out and play very well tomorrow against New Orleans.
Yeah, and I believe the Jets are going to win tomorrow against the Atlanta Falcons.
No way.
I believe tomorrow.
I already went through my diatribe on Joe Douglas and the Jets and what they're doing. And they got some good defensive players, and I like Robert Saleh. I think he does a great job with defense, 49er guy. But holy mackerel, how bad are they? It's just like, I don't know.
Jim, their defense is good.
Their defense is good. I'll give you that. Their defense is good. But the Falcons are a team that's going to come in very physical. They're 5-6. It's a huge game for the Falcons. It's a huge game for the Jets too, because they're trying to salvage something to maybe get Aaron Rodgers is saying he might come back, and
Aaron will come back. He
practiced this week.
He's on a 21-day practice squad.
Yeah, but all you got to do is watch that offensive line in practice, and that'll make your knee will hurt a little bit more. Say, maybe I'm not quite ready.
For a guy that has a torn Achilles and comes back just to prove to the world and prove to the media. Aaron, salute you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that. I can't take the Jets. I just can't take a team that's playing Boyle at quarterback. I can't do it. I can't.
They should play that third stringer. They should play that third stringer that you were talking about.
No, they should go get Nathan Rourke. That's what I was talking about. Go get him from Jacksonville's practice squad and give him the job. Let him play.
Pick him up.
That's what they should do. I can't go. I just can't say I'm going to bet or I'm going to tell somebody to go on the Jets. It's one of those things I just can't do it.
No, I agree.
Let's continue. John, who do you got? The Jets or Falcons?
Oh, no, I was going to say the Jets being at home. But yeah, if the offense could do something, anything, even if they could score a couple of touchdowns or something, then you could say there's hope. But I don't know. And look at the offense, and it just, I mean, there's just, Tim Boyle's back there running for his life. So yeah, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'd be saying, I think I'm just going to pack it in for this season. I don't want to damage. I'll just wait, maybe week 16 or 17. But by that point, the season's already done.
Yeah, I think they're a good defensive football team, and they're a bad overall football team because their offense is so pathetic, and their defense is not Baltimore Raven type that was able to win it with Trent Dilfer at quarterback. Who knows? He's going to come off the sideline at UAB, and he could be playing for one of these teams in the NFL. Now there's so many injuries at quarterback. Bring Trent Dilfer back.
I got Carson Wentz back and Joe Flacco. Why not?
They're all coming back. That's right.
And I got you have two coaches in 30 years. I am impressed by Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. I really believe this year the Steelers were going to be terrible. I thought at least 3-7, 4-7. But when you have a coach that motivates that locker room and have the best defensive coordinator, the best defense in TJ Watt, impressive. And the Pittsburgh Steelers to be 7-4 and still have a shot to win their division. Tomlin, if I saw you, buddy, I'll do a salute 3 times like Remembrance Day. This team is on fire, and their schedule is pretty easy. They got the Cardinals, they got the Patriots, they got the Colts, they got the Bengals, Seahawks, Ravens, and they're second in the AFC North, and I got a slaughter tomorrow. Steelers win at least by 15 plus. This team is motivated.
They can't score though. I mean, they got a new coordinator, and they still. I mean, I think they can't. They're having trouble. They fired their coordinator, like the Bills, and Matt Canada, and they got the new guy. And guys they got a bump from that, and they played a little better last week. But Kenny Pickett's not the answer, and he'll get you so far. And I agree with you with their schedule remaining. And Mike Tomlin is. You ask about the best coach in the NFL right now. He's very close to that. Again, he's been there a long time. He's gotten a chance to go through the rough spots every coach has. And he has that defense playing at a high level. So, again, what Kyler Murray are we going to get? Are we going to get a more refined, more healthy Kyler Murray? Or are we going to get, the Kyler Murray we've been seeing, which has been okay, but not Kyler Murray first guy taken? Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be a blowout, but the Steelers, I don't know. They're, like you said, they're the opposite of the Chargers. I mean, they're winning games they shouldn't win. You're putting up 10, 13 points or 16, I think, and you're winning games. Like, wow, that says a lot. Your defense is shutting down teams. But yeah, I mean, the offense has, again, something's just not right. They're not clicking. They're doing okay. So they're getting by for now. Will they beat the Cardinals tomorrow at home? Yes. Cardinals, again, I think they'll keep it close. Kyler Murray's back. The team is starting to gel a bit, but I think it'll be like a 16-10 game again, kind of like the Cleveland.
It's funny, Jim. You said Pickens is not the answer.
No.
It's actually technically his second year, but I call it his first full year because Trubisky's terrible. You got to give this guy at least a couple of years to see if he's right for Pittsburgh, because we go from Big Ben Roethlisberger, a Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl champion, to a guy like this. Of course, everybody's going to say that, but you guys should at least give this guy a shot. Give him a couple years. If he's not an answer, go draft another quarterback. Because their defense is totally great. They're top 5 in defense. They're ranked, I think, number 3 or number 4 coming off this week. So give this guy some time, and maybe after we'll get Jim Parker. Maybe he's the answer for the Pittsburgh.
You know what you sound like, Joe?
Who do
You
I sound
sound like a guy who's never been fired because he's got a shitty quarterback.
Oh, yeah?
That's what you sound like, a guy who's never been fired because he's playing with a guy that's just not good enough. And Mike Tomlin, again, he's gonna either. I mean, he loves that kid. The kid is a Pittsburgh kid. He loves him. Pickett. If he's ever going to get a shot, he's with the right team. How long do you go with it? We'll see. We'll see. But when you get fired, when you get fired a couple times because you just don't. I coached for a guy who owned the team so his kid could play quarterback. How about that one?
Mr. Parker, is there anything you wish you would not have done in your career?
There's a lot of them actually. In hindsight, my greatest time was as a coordinator. I loved being an offensive coordinator, and I went and became a head coach. And probably my biggest mistake was exactly what I just talked about, was thinking I could go into Calgary and replace Wally Buono when the owner of the team bought the team so his kid could play quarterback. And that to me was, it was a deadly mistake. You know, he tells you one thing about how you're going to have the final say and thing, but ultimately I didn't. And then at the end of the season, he went to Europe. I fired his kid. I cut his kid. And then he cut me 2 days before Christmas. So, that's part of the way it goes in pro football.
Now Mr. Barker's cutting people too. Interesting. We got the Miami Dolphins, the 8-3 Dolphins against the Washington Commanders. Miami wins by 10 plus, even more. I got 13 plus Miami this one. Miami just looks too good this year. They're one of those teams that couldn't be Super Bowl contenders with Tua and Tyreek Hill.
Let me ask you this, Joe, and you too, Johnny. What's your guys' take on Sam Howell?
John, you go first.
He looks like, I don't know if he's a rookie. I'm trying to think, is he in the first or sophomore year? Again, there's times he looks great. He's getting the ball. Like, there's games I watch and man, he looks brilliant. And then other times he's throwing a pick, like he throws right to the guy. So again, I think he has potential. Again, he's making some good plays, but he's made some bad plays. Is he the answer? I don't know. I just don't like when they throw these kids. I mean, we used to bring them in and they'd have a veteran they could learn from. It's like they just throw them right in right away. Well, they don't flourish right away. Like, I don't know if he has anybody to work with, but I think I like Sam Howell. I think he's doing good. But again, he has great games. Then he has a game he stinks. So it's just that inconsistency.
Interesting.
As a young quarterback.
I think he has a lot of potential, but he's making a lot of bad choices with the ball. I agree with you, John. I think he's making a lot of bad choices. Do I see him continuing in Miami? No. I think he goes somewhere else.
No, he's in Washington.
Who is?
Commanders.
Oh, yeah, Commander. Okay. No, I thought you were talking about Miami.
No, Sam Howell. I was talking about
Howell. No. Oh, okay.
Because I was gonna wrap it with. So who do you think is on the better trajectory, Kenny Pickett or Sam Howell?
Oh my
One's
God.
with a much better team.
I would say Sam Howell.
You guys okay, man? You have some water over here, some Costco water. Kenny Pickett, of course, man. I believe this guy is the future for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's from Pittsburgh. He has to develop in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin knows what to do with this kid. Kenny Pickens.
I think he's just struggling. Again, I don't know if it's the sophomore. They say the sophomore jinx. I don't know. He's not seeing the field well for some reason this year. They're winning games, but it's again. Whereas Sam's got a heck of an arm. He's got a cannon, and again, if he can harness that and make some better plays, or maybe have a better coordinator, I don't know. I'm not sure what the answer is with Sam. I think Miami wins tomorrow, but Washington's a tough place to play, and it could be sloppy, muddy field. So I think it'll be a touchdown game or 10-point for the Dolphins.
I just think the Dolphins are too athletic for
Yeah, they are.
Washington.
Yeah, the Washington defense, since they've lost their key players, they're just not the same.
They're
Yeah,
very scary team.
I don't know. There's the same thing. I think that whole organization's undergoing something. Ron Rivera fires Jack Del Rio and that type of thing. So I don't know. Commanders are one of those teams that if they're on, I'll do anything else. I might even do yard work or something.
Yeah, I agree.
Than have to watch.
That's a good answer. I want to ask you this, and this is part of football. Does John Gruden deserve another chance in the NFL?
I believe he does. I mean, what happened? What happened with the emails and things, and he's an old school guy, and I'm shocked he's kind of stepped away from broadcasting, because I thought that was a good thing for him. But I would love to see him get another shot, and somebody will bring him back at some point. Somebody will bring him back, but I think he definitely deserves another chance. I think he's a good football coach. Great story is when Mike Holmgren got his first job with Green Bay, he asked me if I wanted to be a quality control coach. And I was married with kids at the time, and it was just, I couldn't afford, back in those days, the money wasn't good. So he went and hired John Gruden. And so, because he had been with Jim Gruden, John's dad, in San Francisco. And so that's my John Gruden story. I helped him get his start in Green Bay.
I love John Gruden. In the past is the past. About the present is the present. The future is the future. What happened 30 years ago should have been dealt with 30 years ago, not 30 years later. I think that's unacceptable. I think that's a spit in John Gruden's face. I think this is bad for the Raiders organization. Looks bad for the Raiders. That's why the Raiders are actually this bad the last few years, because John Gruden was the answer in Oakland at the time. Now are called the Las Vegas Raiders. I have something to say on that.
Yeah.
Panthers and Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield. Bucs win tomorrow by 10+.
At least, it's as Baker Mayfield is a tough competitor, and Tampa Bay is going to blitz, and Carolina has their offensive line's average. Bryce Young is struggling, and it goes back to what Rita Miller asked about me, where decisions I would take back. So much of pro football is about ownership, and ownership in when you buy a team so your kid can play quarterback, that's going to be bad ownership. You're not going to win there. Arizona, for years, when the older Bidwell was there, they couldn't win because when they were in St. Louis, because it was bad ownership. In Carolina, this guy's showing all the signs of bad ownership. He's making poor decisions in terms of who he hires, because he's firing them before he gives them a chance to do anything. And I don't know. It just, it just comes down to ownership. Washington has gone through it. Daniel Snyder sells the team, and now they have a new owner. What's going to happen? That's the uneasiness you feel. But I think ownership in pro sports is one of the first things that you're going to need in order to have a chance to win, is quality ownership. And they don't have that, I believe, right now in Carolina.
John?
Yeah, no, again, you look at the successful teams, the Kansas City Chiefs, 49ers. I love those Italian roots. That's my background, but strong roots, right? Great, and that's what, when players come from other teams and they come to San Francisco, they said there's a different feel, there's a different vibe, there's a championship feel here. And for me as a fan, it's like you don't see the behind the doors, but it's great to hear the roots, right? The team, there's good roots and there's good locker room. Like, again, it leads to the good product on the field. But yeah, and the Panthers, I mean, you feel bad because it felt like they were on the right track. They had a good defense, and they drafted well. They've got good pieces there. It's gonna be interesting to see with the new coach or whoever the interim coach is, tomorrow, because the guys are already saying there's a different vibe, there's a different feel. So, I mean, the Buccaneers have played well. They're at home, so I mean, obviously I think they're going to win by at least 10. Baker's playing well for the Bucks. But yeah, I think the Panthers, again, if they can get the right coach, I was going to say, hopefully they don't go out and get Josh Daniels now or somebody, right? But again, I know, again, you got to build from the ground. Again, you've got to have a good ownership. You've got to have a good leadership team to put the right pieces in place that leads to a good product on the field. So again, it's all the stepping stones. So obviously they're going through some growing pains right now, and again, it was too bad because I thought Ron was doing a good job there. I think Rivera came from there, didn't he?
Yeah. We have welcome back Joe Flacco to the National Football League against an injured Matthew Stafford. And the Rams, they've been playing good football lately. They won 2 of the last 3 games. The remaining schedule are the Browns, Ravens, Commanders, Giants, and 49ers January 7th. It is possible for the Rams to make the postseason still. On the other hand, Joe Flacco, did he show some Flacco, old magic from the 2013, 2014, Mr. Jim Barker, or what?
That is it just blows me away that he's actually starting a quarterback tomorrow in the NFL. And you know what? I think the Browns have a legitimate, this would be my upset pick of the week because I think the Rams are favored by 3. I think the Browns have a real chance to beat them because they play such good defense. Myles Garrett is unblockable. The Rams have just been same thing. There's just something missing there. But with that being said, if you're playing Joe Flacco, he isn't going to move anywhere. Okay. You're not going to see that tackle they made on Josh Allen on Joe Flacco. I promise you that. They're going to have him in the pocket and they're going to give him a lot of different looks and that kind of thing. And again, it's one of those things that it's sad to watch the NFL at this time of the season bringing guys that, I think he's been done about 3 years?
3 years, 3+ years, 3.5 years, actually. Exactly. Yeah.
I was wondering why they don't get some of the XFL guys. Isn't there some XFL or USFL?
No, there's nobody. That's a whole nother story.
XFL.
No, there's nobody in that league. I mean, McLeod Bethel Thompson.
Yeah.
He was one of the top guys in that league. So, yeah, actually PJ Walker I think he's with Carolina is out of that league. But no, there's like I say, there's a dearth of quarterbacks, and people are wanting to play these spread offenses. That's why you're watching teams like the Lions going back to double tight ends, a lot of tight sets, because now you can protect your quarterback because there just aren't enough of them to go around. When you play these spread sets like they do in college, those guys are vulnerable to get hurt. And when you play as many games you play in the NFL and the CFL, guys are going to get hurt with those spread offense. I mean, in the CFL, you're seeing it more and more. People bringing tight ends in and things because you line up with 5 offensive linemen and you put that quarterback back there exposed like that, he's going to take shots. And the whole key to any league being successful is quality quarterback play. Because that you look at that Seattle game, you can say what you want about the game and the defenses, but Geno Smith and Dak Prescott played well. They both were very efficient. They didn't throw a lot of interception. They didn't turn the ball over. They completed passes. That makes exciting football. 13-10 and some of the stuff you're seeing in the NFL just makes the game bad. And they got to keep quarterbacks healthy. So it's going to be interesting to watch Joe Flacco. It's just sad to watch, I think.
Sad to watch, as Jim Barker says. I think it's going to be a good football. I really think it's going to be a good football game. I think you're going to see a lot of Joe Flacco underthrowing, overthrowing, but I think he'll have at least 2 TDs, maybe an interception on a day, 150 yards. I think he has some business to prove in Cleveland because a couple of years ago, They were down, I think, 10 plus points or whatever, and they came back and scored 14 plus 2 minutes left, and they shocked Cleveland. That was when was with the Jets. So I think it's going to be a good football game. John, did you pick the Browns or the Rams?
No, I'm going with the Rams. Like you said, I watched the Rams-Seattle game last week, and the Rams, I mean, they did stink at the beginning of the year, but I think they're kind of finding their groove. They're at home. And the Browns, kind of like the Steelers. They're playing great defense, but there's not a whole lot on the offensive side of the ball. Is Joe Flacco the answer? I mean, there was a reason that he hasn't played for a couple of years, so it's going to be interesting to see if he finds his magic. I don't buy it. I'm not buying it. I'm picking the Rams. I'll say 24-10.
I can tell you he is not the answer. He might be a plug that can get you through a game or two, but he is not the answer that's taking them to the promised land.
That would be something else if he actually did something. Seriously, that would be unbelievable. That'd be a comeback.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes on the first start at Lambeau Field. The fans are loud. It's going to be a lot like Arrowhead to others. I'm so excited to play football. You got to love Lambeau Field. I'm excited to get this opportunity to play there. The Green Bay Packers, there are many left of the schedule. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Giants, the Buccaneers, the Panthers, Vikings, and Bears. And tomorrow, folks, I'm a Packers fan. I believe we can get it done at Lambeau Field. We're going to go out there with 60,000 fans on our feet, and we're going to go in there, and there's going to be some love in Green Bay. And I believe our defense will hold the Kansas City Chiefs because the Chiefs, the last 3 weeks, haven't been playing the best football. We're going to under pressure Patrick Mahomes, and the Packers are going to get it done. I believe in love. 2 years ago, I said there's no love for love in Green Bay. I might change my mind now for tomorrow night, 8:20 on NBC, on Fox. Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, Packers get it done. Jim Barker, what is your pick? Packers or Chiefs?
There is not a chance in hell I'm going to be sold on Jordan Love after one game in Detroit. I'm going to go and pick Jordan Love over Patrick Mahomes. Come on, man. I don't care what kind of fans you have. You got Patrick Mahomes, who is the best quarterback. You got Jordan Love, who finally played the way he's supposed to play. But you can't tell me that he's the answer either right now. There's so many question marks with Love. So Jordan Love. Anyway, but I see the Chiefs. I don't see them going home after having lose another game. Their receiving core has been an issue for them. They've got to get that squared away. But their defense has been playing great. They really have been playing well. And, I just think that will carry them through. And I think that receiving core, they got to get better. If they don't get better, the Chiefs are going to be, out early. They have to get that receiving core going. Again, I don't know. Is there going to be snow on the ground at Lambeau? Is it going to be like the old Bart Starr days?
Good old Bart Starr. There's potential. There might be some rain and some hazel, but other than that, I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I would never ever take Jordan Love over Patrick Mahomes in a head-to-head battle, and you can put him in the middle of Green Bay with as loud a crowd as you want. I'm still taking Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you can pick Patrick Mahomes all you want, but I said the defense is going to beat Patrick Mahomes. Not Love's going to beat Patrick Mahomes. I think it's going to be a good football game either, or whoever wins. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. You're playing in Green Bay. I think it'll be a good game. But Aaron Jones, our running back, is out for tomorrow's game. Just to let you know, that's breaking news from 2 hours ago on the score. John?
That is definitely going to hurt the Packers because the one thing they had going for them was the running game. So, no, I know they still got Dillon, but you got to go with Mahomes. Again, it's probably going to be a sloppy field conditions if it's wet or snowy. But Mahomes has performed under pressure. He knows how to get the job done. And, Love looked great. He was in the indoor stadium at Detroit. He had all, looking good. But the Packers have improved. I'll give them that. But and good for them. They got a soft schedule, but I got to go with the AFC teams versus the NFC. But I just think the Chiefs will get it done. But yeah, the Packers have a legitimate shot. I hear what you're saying. because there's the last two spots up for grabs between, let's see, there was it the Saints, the Packers, and the Vikings.
The Vikings and Seahawks. It's actually one of those two teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they definitely have the better schedule. So this will probably be one of their tougher games tomorrow. If they get it done tomorrow, for sure, then the Packers, I say, will make the playoffs. But this is a test for them at home. But got to go with the Chiefs.
Final game Monday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. The struggling Bengals, the 5-6 Bengals against the hot Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville Jaguars, 8-3. Jaguars win this one. I'm picking 10+. Jim Barker.
I'm kind of with you on this one. You take Joe Burrow out of there, and the Bengals are a different team, and it's just the way it is. You take Patrick Mahomes off the Chiefs, and now they're going to be a different team, and you just can't take a guy like Joe Burrow out of the middle of they didn't really have him this year. He was hurt in training camp. He didn't do much. He played a couple of games, but never really got his traction, and then got re-injured. And I like Jacksonville. I think Doug Peterson's done a great job there of bringing the young players together. And Trevor Lawrence is a solid young player, and they run the ball well. Their offensive line's getting better. I like the Jaguars, especially at home in this game. There's nothing about the Bengals that excites me. I mean, their defense plays good. Their defensive coordinator, one of the top defensive coordinators in the league. But when your offense is consistently, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, it's tough to get guys to play that long. So I think the Jaguars win. It's going to be like one of those 24-10 games, something like that.
Johnny?
Yeah, for the Bengals, for me, I was watching last week. I wanted to see, are they going to step up to beat the Steelers? To me, that was a defining game, and they didn't. They scored 10 points, and I thought, boy, not to knock the Steelers, but again, good defense, but that was a test. So Browning isn't, he's the backup. He's not the answer for the Bengals. So I don't see the Bengals going into Jacksonville and winning that game. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to light them up and pull away. I think it'll be 28-13.
Interesting. My final question of this episode to Jim Barker. Are you ready for the bet?
With you?
The Joe bet.
We will make that bet without question. It'll be my first bet in 20 years.
Okay. So who do you got in the Super Bowl to win?
Oh boy. Now I didn't know that. I thought we were going to bet on the one game.
Oh yeah.
We will bet on that after.
Which game was that? The Cowboys-Eagles?
Yeah.
No. This is the Super Bowl right now.
No,
and after
we were talking about the Cowboys-Eagles.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. Who is it going to be? Again, I think it'll be the Eagles. And oh man, I San Francisco scares me. They just do. Wow. But you know what? I'm going to say San Francisco. Where's the game at?
The Super Bowl.
Where's Super Bowl's in? Where is it?
No.
Miami,
Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah. I'm going to say a Philadelphia and San Francisco.
It's like you read my mind already because I'm picking San Francisco too to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you're picking the Cowboys to beat Philadelphia.
Okay. We put that to the side. You pick San Fran, I pick San Fran. I hope they win the Super Bowl. Now for tomorrow's game, we have Philadelphia and San Francisco.
Ooh.
If the San Francisco 49ers lose, I will Uber Eats you a beautiful steak dinner with a beautiful, beautiful hot drink with a beer.
Good. And you'll join me?
Yeah, I'll join you.
Perfect.
On Skype.
Perfect.
And if I don't, you have to get me a Jim Barker jersey signed and sent to me.
I don't have a jersey.
You have anything?
I'll give you a Jim Barker coaching shirt.
Okay,
What
sign for you. From Joe Sports Channel to Jim Barker.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got it.
So we'll have
So I've got
tomorrow.
Philadelphia and you got San Francisco.
I got San Fran winning by 3+, and I will Uber eat you a beautiful steak dinner, nice 2.5-inch of ribeye steak with nice cheesecake. I'll set you up for the meal if the Eagles win. Okay?
Oh, it's Uber Eats. Okay.
Skip the dish, Uber Eats. I don't know what else there is.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. That sounds good.
Jim,
I thought you were down and join them in Toronto. I think
you know what, Jim? We should meet up sometime in Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't mind driving to London.
Yeah, let me know.
Great.
I mean, whenever you're down here, let me know, and we can hook up and maybe go watch a London Knights game, and the tickets are on me.
There you go.
Okay, Jim?
Sounds great.
We'll have you more often on the Joe Sports Channel. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to deal with my talking on the National Football League for 1 hour and 5 minutes and 36 seconds.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. You guys are good sports.
I appreciate it. Take care of yourself.
All right.
Jim Barker.
49ers going to win 20-24 tomorrow.
28-24.
That's my prediction.
There you go. I could be close. I'll say 31-28. The Eagles.
I'll say 35-32 the final, San Francisco.
We usually average about 30, but the Eagles' defense at home is going to be good. It's going to be a heck of a match. It's going to be a smash mouth, good old, good game. So I don't know if the field is coffee or rainy or what the weather is, but it'll be good old smash mouth football.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Take care. Jim Barker. One sec.
We done? Good.
Do you think the playoffs are possibly wide open without a clear favorite this year? Oh, that's a good question. Before I answer that question, Jim Barker, I had a blast with him. I absolutely had a blast. This guy knows his stuff. Former coach, great guy. Likes to, call, the Eagles the best team in the National Football League. A lot of people like to say that. I kind of disagree on that because I think Dallas should have won that game in Buffalo. But let's put that aside. Jim Barker, you killed it. We love you, and we're going to get you back on the show once the studio is back and running right now. It's under construction right now. But we still do the Joe Sports Channel because we are the #1 sports broadcast in London, Ontario that tells true news, nothing false. Yeah, you know what? Paul, I have to pick San Francisco. San Francisco is just a team to watch out for. I've been saying year in, year out. This is the year that Kyle Shanahan needs to go to the playoffs and just drive through. And they need to win all those games. And their final games of the season are the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Ravens, the Commanders, and Rams. And I believe they can win all these games. But it comes down to their defense and if Brock Purdy can get it done. Let this guy stay in the pocket. Let him throw the ball. Like I said when I was with Tino D'Antonio, this guy can throw 70 yards on any given Sunday. Give this guy a chance. I respect the guy. I've seen a lot from this guy. San Francisco, as long as they stay healthy with George Kittle, they will go all the way to the Super Bowl. And for the love of God, let them win for Johnny. BB, good. That's the end of the show.
All right.
Take care, my friend.
Good night.
We'll talk. And to the rest of the wonderful Booney believers, I absolutely had a blast with you guys. I want to simply say thank you for coming on tonight, listening to me rant about the National Football League, bringing Jim Barker on. The reason I come on here, folks, is because you keep me confident and you keep me great and you keep me good looking. You have Rita Miller, you have Ian Ellis, you have Johnny B. Good, you have John Laurinaitis, you have Jim Barker, the coach of the Toronto Argonauts. Comes on Joe Booney's show, bringing all these amazing celebrities on the Joe Sports Channel. 13 years ago, I never believed in myself. But 13 years later, ladies and gentlemen, I have some faith. I know I'm good. I'm not arrogant, but I know I'm good. I know I'm good at what I do. And I like to learn from people. And when you learn from people, you get better. And people say, Joe, for the love of God, you're 23 damn years old and you're very mature for your age. How do you carry yourself so well? Thank my mom, my dad, my grandparents, my beautiful, lovely wife, Habibti Lubna, my mother-in-law, the people around me. You know, you hang out with good people, good results come. You hang out with bad people, bad results come. So stay faded. Believe in the chest. Believe in your heart. Anything is possible. Alhamdulillah, I'm living this good life. I'm breathing on God's time. Ain't gonna waste one breath. We'll see you in exactly 1 week, and we'll see if Mr. Jim Barker is right and does Joe Booney lose a damn bet from a former CFL coach. We'll see about that. We'll talk about that later. Bye-bye for now. Joe Sports Channel is leaving the building.